Greetings. I felt really guided to do a video today for an energy update for Mercury retrograde ending and coming into Saturn retrograde. I've been getting so many messages and I honestly haven't felt like doing videos, and I haven't felt like really being seen or participating in a lot of things in life lately, honestly. And it's because I really, well, the energy's been tough, but also because there's some things that I've been evaluating and facing that I was ignoring. So I feel like this is part of the message, right? Because we fixate on so many things out of control. Because if it can't be how our mind says that our wounds need to be handled, then we don't want to participate in it. And most of the time, if you're not consciously aware and you're not healing or healed, you're coming from a wounded space, you know? And we don't always realize that, and we don't even really want to acknowledge that, right? Because healing isn't linear, and some patterns die hard. So during Mercury retrograde, we were called to evaluate the different things and patterns and relationships in our life, right? But also the things that have held us back, our patterns, and relationships doesn't always mean like a partner, you know, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a life mate, whatever you want to call it. It includes the relationships with the people around us. And with Mercury retrograde and Saturn retrograde energy, I feel that we are doing some deep collective grieving. And as the old life passes by, and even though it was painful, it can make you feel really empty and lonely. And it can make you evaluate things and say, well, at least I had this. Well, why should you have to settle for at least, right? I also feel that we're being guided during this time to evaluate how we are, where Saturn retrograde karma, how have we participated in these karmic cycles? How have we kept the fire lit? Because things cannot go if we don't participate. If you're playing tug of war with someone, right, and you stop fighting and let go, they fall and they, you know, and somebody lets go, right? The other people usually fall because of the pressure of them tugging the rope, but then they also win, right? That's part of it. That's part of the message. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm being spoken to. Sometimes we think we fell, but we won. How have you won in your life? How are you really viewing your life right now? Are you viewing the losses as a loss? Or are you acknowledging what you've gained? Are you being an active participant in your life and actively showing up for yourself? Or are you pushing yourself away and rejecting yourself because you're addicted to the fixation of the pain that you were used to? Or are you going to gift yourself the opportunity to allow new beginnings? We're also in a place of deep evaluation of, do the people around us really love us? Or do they love the idea of us? Do they love what we give? And that's something that I definitely have dealt with. I used to be a people pleaser. In my life for a very long time. And I wanted to be loved because I always seeked to be understood and to be loved and to be accepted. And I'm noticing that I'm getting more awareness of the people around me that genuinely value me, or that genuinely value what I bring to the table only. You know, that check on you even though they know you're going through stuff, to tell you about their stuff, or that don't respect your boundaries after you continuously tell them, and they have to keep tugging at your energy. You know, there's people who check up on you because they genuinely care, and there's people who check up on you so that you can check up on them and give to them. So it's not easy to always discern that, or to use discernment of that, but it's also important, right? Because you have to be realistic with yourself. You don't want to go into a state of paranoia and necessarily say, oh gosh, everyone's this, everyone's that. Yeah, because we all have our shit. No one's perfect, right? But what I've realized is I seek a love that a lot of people aren't capable of giving to themselves. So how could I be able to receive that from them? And I'm learning to pour that love into me, to give that love to me, to really value me, to realize that I am the win, and that I am the prize in my life, and that I am a gift to me. And then when you're able to do that, and when you're able to use discernment and say, hey, I don't feel like talking, I'm not in a space of wanting to talk, and being able to say, to pay attention to the people who are not respecting that, or are still trying to take from you, or are still trying to tug at you because they're not hearing you. They're not hearing that you need time. They're hearing what they need from you, and they're hearing their attachment issues, and they're hearing what they need to receive from you. They're not hearing you. Now, does this mean that the people around are necessarily bad? No, it just means that's where they've met themselves. Where have you met you? How do you want to participate in things for yourself? How do you want to make your life happy? How do you want to feel fulfillment for you? So these are the things we need to ask ourselves. So Saturn coming in to, invoke karma. What does karma mean to you? Is karma hard for you? Is karma good? Is karma bad? Karma is what you put out. It's the boomerang effect. It's you give what you get. And yeah, you can think well, it hasn't hit them, or it hasn't hit me the way that I put it out. Karma comes back the way that your soul needs it, and the way that you need to grow. Sometimes karma is, a car accident. Or sometimes that means rest. Sometimes karma is you losing someone that's precious and not realizing things, because you have to learn to stop taking people and things for granted. Karma comes in different ways. So I wanted to pull some cards, because this energy isn't easy, but I want to say that this energy is energy that you really have to spend time with yourself. That your phone should be on Do Not Disturb most of the time, and that you can't listen to everybody's shit. That you can't participate in everyone else's life if they're not pouring into yours. That you can't make other people's problems your problems anymore. Can you continue? Yes. But make sure you don't call me to talk about it, and don't book a reading with me to talk about it, because I don't want to hear if you're not ready to break a fucking cycle. Because I'm tired of my own shit. So I definitely don't want to hear your shit. What do we need to know? So what I just was hearing now is Ariel, part of your world. And in that movie, you know, Ariel is seeking, I want to say this too, family isn't always family. A lot of them are karma. A lot of them are karmic cycles. A lot of them are people who that our soul chose to be around for our soul's growth. They have nothing to do with the next steps of our life. And is that hard sometimes to realize? Yeah, it is. But is that important? Yep, because you block your own blessings, not allowing yourself to be free from restrictions of other people's limitations. And in Ariel, she's like, you know, everyone's like, oh my God, this is your family. She doesn't feel connected to her family. So she wants to be part of a different world. I do feel like we're going to be coming more into our tribal energy, where the people who we connect with, the people who we can support, but we have to be willing to let that in, right? And then another thing that Ariel says that I keep hearing, part of your world, right? And in Ariel, there's Ursula. And Ursula tries to take her voice. And, well, she does take her voice. And she tries to ruin everything. And then it ends up working out for Ariel. Who made you feel like you weren't, your words weren't important? Who made you feel like you needed to silence yourself because they didn't want to hear about their participation in your trauma? Who made you feel like your feelings aren't valid? Who made you feel like that? And I would recommend during this time to sing. You don't have to sing like Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston. You can just sing. You can put on music and sing. And allow your throat chakra to be heard. But also allow yourself to be seen by you. To sit in front of a mirror and to face yourself and say, I'm so sorry I allowed so much. And I'm so sorry that I allowed the restrictions from the past to limit what we are capable of. But I want to heal the disconnect. And I don't want to participate in karmic cycles that needed to end a long time ago anymore. And I want to block the numbers that don't deserve access to me. And I want to stop going back and forth, because if you're going back and forth with someone who doesn't appreciate you, you're still continuing that process. If you're allowing people to mistreat you, or if you know Spirit is saying to you, something is off about this, you're participating and you're telling Spirit that you are still connected to repeating patterns. You have to be an active participant in your life. You don't have to sit back and silence yourself anymore. That part of you is gone. You need to stand up for yourself now. You need to stop allowing the limitations put on you from past people to block what Spirit is trying to bring in your life. So we got false person. Number 8 is on that card. I feel like some of the people we have around us block money. Someone is definite, like, this is the thing about fucking life, man. Before you know yourself, and then you realize as you're getting older, holy shit, like, this was like all a facade, or this was all about pain. You are actively participating in someone's life, or having someone actively participate in your life that is complete trash. That values what you bring to the table. That as soon as the table is clear, or you remove the table, you ain't shit. And they're in their feelings. You know why? Because they have no focus on their self. They have focus on what you can bring. Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling like, okay, you can give this, I can give this, reciprocation. But a lot of times, until we really know our worth, there's no real reciprocation. There's a lot of motherfucking takers, and including us, taking, like, making demands. I need you to fulfill this because my father or my mother or my sister or my ex-husband or my ex-wife, whoever, couldn't. I need you to fulfill this. Well, that's a heavy fucking burden. It is. You know, and looking for someone to give you something that they are not willing to give to themselves is just insanity. It is. So evaluate the people around you, ask it to be highlighted, and ask it to be removed. But I have to be honest, you're going to probably have to use your voice and say, hey, you know, I don't know, something feels different about this. I don't want to participate in this anymore. You know, I'm so grateful for the time we've had together, but I'm done. You know, I've had to do that. I've had to say it, and I've had to not say it. And it's not easy. But, you know, it's hard, and I've taken months or even a year or more if I needed to grieve these people. But I will grieve you, but I will leave you the fuck alone because I cannot deal with nonsense anymore. So how much nonsense do you want to deal with? Right? And it's not even about the person anymore. It's about willingly saying to yourself, hey, this is bullshit. This is a terrible situation, terrible friendship. Something feels weird. Something doesn't feel right. I don't like how this happened. I didn't even realize this at this point. It just doesn't feel good. Remove yourself. Remove yourself. We got imprisonment, but we got it in reverse. Because even if you don't want to remove yourself, you're going to get dragged, baby. I was talking to someone about this the other day. I have gotten a spiritual beating before, plenty of times, because my ass would fixate, and I still have to check myself sometimes. Like, okay, Cynthia, what are we going to do? Let's move forward. You're going to spend the whole fucking day thinking about that one thing? Now I dig into it, get to the root. Sometimes I still spend the day, if I need to, or a few days being angry or whatever, so that I can move past it. I'm not pressuring myself, and I'm not rushing past shit. So we are being forced out of imprisonment and self-imposed limitations. You know, what you gonna do? And then I believe, and I'm not an astrologer, but I'm into astrology, there's like a nodal shift happening, right? I think to Libra, Aries, don't quote me on it. But if this is the case, right? We're coming out of Mercury retrograde. Mercury is communication. Saturn is karma. Libra is justice, balance, and Aries is war. We are being guided towards balance and to release internal wars. Or how can we step up in a battle to battle for ourselves, you know, and realize that it's not even a battle, that we're not competition, we're not the enemy, we're the ally. And our inner conflict can make us feel like an enemy and that we're at war with ourselves, because that's really where the war begins, here and here. Although I don't like doing love readings, and this is not a love reading, we got courtship. I do feel deeper bonds coming, you know, and I do feel relationships coming about that are more about reciprocation and more about bringing in balance and not being at war. And what does that look like for you? Do you have to live with the person? Do you have to speak to them every day? Do you have to make them your whole world? Do you have to prove to them that you're worthy of love? That's going to be up to you. But I don't feel like you do anymore. And if you haven't been doing the work, honestly, on yourself, well, then this is going to be a tough time for you. But you do need to participate actively in your life and what you want to create. And if you don't know what that is yet, sit down with yourself and figure it out. We got the garden and the gate and appreciation. So I feel like we're coming into a new time. But are you going to willingly participate in the new beginnings that life is bringing you? I also feel like a burst of light or burst of energy, almost like light bulb moments, are going to come that are going to push you into the garden. I really want to say this again. I don't feel like you really have a choice anymore. If you're watching this and you've been guided to watch this, I just want to say that you don't have a choice anymore to keep up with your old bullshit. You don't. So if you don't do something about it, you're going to get dragged and you're going to feel like, why? And jump into victim mode. And, well, you know, if you want to keep, if the dog bites you once, shame on the dog, right? You know that saying? If it bites you again, because you went in the fucking backyard that you got bitten, shame on you. And there's nothing harder to come back from than fucking self-betrayal, honestly. Honestly. You know, and that's what keeps me in a certain space as well, because I'm not betraying myself anymore. Not one person in my life is more important than me. And I love my children so much, but I cannot, I'm raising them to go on. I can't take care of them forever. I can't be everything to them, you know, and nothing to myself. I can't do that. And I did that for a very long time. But now I realize that it's me who really needs me so that I can pour into them. If my cup is not overflowing, how can I pour into my daughters? So as you regain this time with yourself, you're going to gain a deeper appreciation for self. Have some active conversations with yourself. What do I need to do to feel better, right? So then, unexpected income. Everyone's going to love this part of the reading. So, Saturn retrograde, karma. Are you owed something? Does someone owe you something? Is there something that that's been weighing on you financially that you're waiting to be cleared? This is the time where things are going to also be resolved, because the tables are turning. I was looking to see if I feel guided to pull any more cards. I'll pull a shadow. Shadow work. What do we need to work on? Codependency. You are relying too heavily on the other person for your sense of self-worth. Give yourself more self-love. We need each other. We do. And I'm trying to remind myself of that, because I can seclude myself completely from people because I don't want to deal with it. And then, and I don't want to deal with nonsense. And there needs to be a balance with that. At the same time, I have absolutely dealt with serious codependency issues. I have absolutely had to face issues of feeling like I needed someone to fulfill something in me that I wasn't willing to acknowledge and fulfill in myself. So if you are aware and know that you have codependency issues, and you make up stories in your head when the person's not giving you what you need, you should probably get in therapy, or you should probably start healing and unpacking and journaling, but you're probably going to need assistance with that because it's not easy. I hope this reading was helpful. I felt really guided to give you guys some guidance, and I'll talk to you soon.